Dan, you are now live.
Thank you. Thought we'd lost you there for a second. Thanks, Rebecca. Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, May 26, 2021 meeting of the East Lansing Planning Commission. Mr. Menser, would you please call roll?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Member Cahill.
Here.
Member Sullivan.
Oh, from my home in East Lansing.
Oh, yes. Let me. We do have to say that again. So your name, attending remotely, and then where you're attending the meeting from. So, Member Sullivan.
Here, attending remotely from my house in East Lansing, Michigan, Ingham County.
Member Williams.
Hello, everyone. I am present, attending remotely from my home in East Lansing.
Member Boyle.
I'm also attending remotely from my home in East Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan.
Member Wolf.
Here, attending remotely from East Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan.
Member Lapine.
Present, attending remotely from Clarkston, Michigan.
Member Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from outside my house in East Lansing.
Member Bowman.
I am here attending remotely from my home in East Lansing, Michigan, Ingham County.
Member Hendricks.
Here remotely in East Lansing, Michigan.
Full boat. Thank you, everyone.
We do have a quorum. Well, that'll move us on to item 1.2, approval of the agenda. You all had a copy of the agenda in your packets. I would move approval, or I would entertain a motion to approve that agenda.
Cahill, so moved.
Boyle, second.
Thank you. That's been moved by Commissioner Cahill and seconded by Vice Chair Boyle. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing no hands, all those in favor, let's do a voice vote here, and then I'll go back and read my instructions regarding votes momentarily. But for the time being, all those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 And those opposed, that motion passes. And again, I'd say I'm going to return to my opening script, thanking everyone once again for their continued patience as we work our way through this not quite so new technology, and remind you that all members of the public will have an opportunity to address the commission during public comment and during our public hearing this evening. Each commission member will be called on individually to speak during each item. A commission member may say pass if they do not have a comment on that item. Commission members are reminded to state their name before speaking and making a motion and so on, and that all votes of consequence will be taken with a roll call vote. Bringing us back to the agenda. Item 1.3, approval of the minutes. We have in our packets the draft minutes of the meeting of May 12th, 2021. I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Cahill, so moved.
Williams, support.
Thank you. That's been moved by Commissioner Cahill and seconded by Commissioner Williams to approve the minutes of the May 12th meeting. Is there any discussion on that motion? I'm seeing no hands. And so again, we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That motion carries as well. To my knowledge, we have no committee reports. Mr. Menser, do you have any things to report from the staff?
Nothing particular. Hopefully all of you should have asked for hard copies of the draft housing study, should have received those. And if you didn't, check your front doors. So that's where I left my copies, and Rebecca left some as well. So that's all to report for tonight.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Menser? All right then. Item 4, commissioner announcements. Any announcements from commissioners? No. All right then. Item 5, communications from citizens. This is we'll now move on to public comment. Each caller in our queue will have 5 minutes to address the commission. At the end of 5 minutes, the caller will be placed back on mute. Callers will be identified by the last 3 digits of their phone number. When called on, you will be unmuted. If you do not wish to speak, please indicate so by saying pass. If you do wish to speak, please clearly state your name and address before addressing the commission. This is not a requirement, but it does help our staff in keeping accurate minutes of this meeting. I'll remind members of those of you that are here to present on behalf of the public hearing that if you don't want to add anything immediately, simply say pass. And with that, Ms. Urdialis, if you would open up the door.
All right. The person with the last 3 digits of their phone number of 927, you are allowed to speak. (927), the floor is yours.
It does appear that you are muted. I believe that the code to unmute yourself is *6. Caller.
This is Jeff Tooley with Granger. I'm here with the MSU FCU team tonight. I just had technology troubles getting online.
Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing from you later.
The next person to speak has the initials of AP. You are now allowed to speak. AP, the floor is yours.
Again, it does appear that you may be self-muting. I believe again that *6 will correct that.
That's a member of the MSU FCU team. That's their engineer.
I recognize the last name.
Yes. All right, the next member to speak has the initials MD. The floor is yours. You're now allowed to speak.
Oh.
That is also one of our team members, Rebecca.
Thank
Okay.
you, Ms. Buck.
The last member has the initials of SC. You're unmuted and have the floor.
I believe that is also a member of our team too.
All right. Well represented tonight.
We do have a number of panelists that are not commission members. I don't know if you wanted me to give them the opportunity.
That's fine. I suspect we'll move that for them fairly quickly, but let's just give them the opportunity just in case.
The member with the initials BM, Brandon Markham, you are now allowed to speak.
Good evening. I am also part of the MSU FCU team.
Kathy Buck.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kathy Buck with Neumann Smith Architecture and looking forward to describing more for you this evening related to our project. Thank you.
The next speaker, Mark Russell. The floor is yours if you'd like to speak.
Thank you. I will reserve comment until we present the project to you in the upcoming agenda item.
The last speaker is Walt Waderko. You are now open to speak.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm Walt Wyderko. I'm the project manager for MSU FCU. I'm just here as part of the presentation, but the credit union is excited about what we're going to present tonight and for this new branch that we're proposing. So I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.
Chair Bowman, that is everyone who is in attendance.
Thank you. That will move us on to item 6, our public hearing, our only public hearing of this evening. Item 6.1, an application for a special use permit and site plan approval from Neumann Smith Architecture to demolish the existing 4-lane drive-up credit union branch building and 2-lane ATM canopy structure and construct a 1-story, 9,936 square foot headquarter branch office building with 5 new drive-through lanes and associated parking at 3775 Coolidge Road. I believe that is Ms. Schmidt.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. This project site is 2.83 acres. It's part of the overall 24.36 acres for Michigan State University Federal Credit Union project sites. It includes the headquarters 1 and headquarters 2. This is currently a 4-lane drive-up facility and a separate 2-lane ATM canopy on site. The ATM canopy will remain to service the MSU Federal Credit Union, its members, but will be demolished in the last phase of the development. The site has access from both West Road and Coolidge Roads. West and Coolidge Roads are one of the main corridors for office development in the city. The project site is located in the B4 zoning district, restricted office business district. The properties in all directions adjacent to the subject property are also zoned B4. Property to the east has not been developed yet. US 127 lies to the west. Further north is the City of East Lansing Department of Public Works facility, which is Zone C community facilities. The building proposed is to be 1-story, approximately 9,936 square feet in size. It includes 1,993 square feet of canopy over 5 drive-through lanes, accessing the ATMs and the video teller machines. The drive-through lanes have 4 stacking spaces for each lane. The new building will replace the branch credit union office within the first floor of the headquarter 1 building to the west of the site. There are no substantial concerns at this time from engineering, building, fire, or police. In their reviews, the engineering review letter did suggest that a traffic data needed to be submitted. However, that was an oversight on their part, and the traffic data was submitted and it satisfies the requirement. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Ms. Schmidt? Commissioner Cahill?
Yeah, Darcy, I was just wondering, why does this need a special use permit?
Only because of the drive-through lanes, because they currently have a special use permit for the existing drive-through lanes, but because they're relocating them, it requires a special use permit.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Schmidt? All right, then I will turn to the members of the MSU FCU team, and it looks like Ms. Buck has turned on her mic, and so welcome. And
thank you very much.
We're looking forward to hearing from all of you if that's what you have planned.
If you wouldn't mind, members, we had prepared just really kind of like a very high level overview of the project that perhaps gives a little bit more flavor to the project, just to acquaint you with it a little bit further. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to share my screen, if that would be okay.
Absolutely. Do you have are you empowered to do it? Yes, you are. Okay, thanks.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
This will be very, very brief. As a member Darcy Schmidt had mentioned, the project is located on the current campus of the MSU FCU headquarters 1 and 2. Our project is sited here at the corner of Coolidge Road and West Road, and replaces the existing ATM canopy and drives building right here. So it relocates the credit union, which is located on the first floor of HQ1, and in a desire to be better service-minded toward their members and to offer them just more than just a transactional experience. This new development provides a much better opportunity for their members, because it just brings it closer to and better access to it, and better visibility and better service with new technology. So just very briefly, we have just some plans and elevations to share with you. This is the first floor plan with the primary entrance of the credit union off the east side, off of Coolidge, and another entrance off of the south side. I wanted to bring to your attention, as you can imagine, architects and designers, and also ongoing design finessing that we are doing. Just this afternoon, we talked about perhaps eliminating one of the parking spaces here on the south side in order to offer us a better opportunity to address some landscaping and screening opportunities here. As you will have noticed with the application, we have a requirement for 23 parking spaces, and I think currently we have 39. So we would be giving up one of those spaces, but still well above the required amount of parking. So in the final submittal that we would make to the city, we would certainly, update that. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention because this will be reflected a little bit differently in what we do submit in our final package. So elevation-wise, the project includes a combination of some red brick and dark green glazed brick. We have curtain wall system in a black anodized aluminum framing system. And we also have some wood appearing fiber cement panels that offer an accent into the building as you would enter into it off of the east elevation off of Coolidge Road. We use the green brick primarily to highlight areas where there's a member experience. So you would see the green brick at the entry into the building, and also where you would pull up under the canopy and have the drive up lanes. So wherever there is an entrance into the building, that's really the language that we use. So it's a very consistent and very simple palette of materials, but you'll see some actual photos of some of the other branches that have been constructed at the very end of this presentation here. Landscaping wise, we have incorporated a number of the existing trees into the scheme. There are, however, some existing trees that are perhaps actually in the way of the new design, and some that are actually just have not flourished, and so they will be removed as part of the scope of work. But then they are replaced with new species of plants. And you can see that this undulating pattern of landscaping along Coolidge Road and along West Road works to provide the visual screening as is required by the zoning ordinance to inhibit the direct view to the parking fields. But it also then, around the perimeter of the building, there is a mixture of different planting materials, including perennials and some perhaps annuals, but primarily perennials, in order to bring year-round interest to landscaping around the building. This site is very landscaping rich, and so this new design kind of celebrates that and works very well with that scheme. Again, I just wanted to bring to your attention that the scheme that we will provide at the end, or our final submittal package, will be one parking space less, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. This next page is actually just essentially, this was already in the package that we submitted to you. We had it here in the presentation in case any of the members had a specific question about any of the planting materials. It was just easier to reference this way if there were some questions. We just had a few renderings to show you. So this is the elevation off of Coolidge Road. And again, you can see that wood look panel that frames the building entrance, along with the green glazed brick. This is the north elevation. This is also where the employees would enter into the building. It's directly adjacent to the drive up lanes. This is the south elevation off of West Road. And this is actually what we are currently working on here to work with landscaping in order to provide some screening of some of these utilities here, or service into the building. So that's really what we're working toward right here to resolve. And then just very briefly, we thought you might enjoy seeing a couple of, or this is actually two examples of this design that has been constructed. This is in Berkeley, Michigan. So you have the wood look fiber panels here and the dark green glazed brick. And we thought that we would give you a little clip here of the material that we used for the roof screening for the roof cooling condensing units on the roof. Provide visual screening of that. This is a project very similar. Each one is a little bit different to react to the specific site conditions and the membership requirements at those locations. This is in Clarkston, Michigan. This is the Sashabaw branch. So again, you can see the dark green glazed brick. Really, the kit of parts is the same, arranged in very much the same fashion, but kind of tailored again to the specific instances at each location. Our project will eventually replace the ground sign at the corner of West Road and Coolidge, and it will it'll be very reminiscent of this. Again, probably a slight variation. We'll certainly scale it appropriately to the zoning ordinance requirements, and there'll be some subtle nuances, but it will have this flavor in the final design that we will eventually submit for the signage. And that's it. So we just thought we'd give you a little bit more flavor to what we're proposing for the project. Did anybody have any questions?
Commissioner Wolf?
Yes, could you put up the landscape plan again?
Certainly.
Yeah. On the east side of the building, there's a concrete sidewalk that runs north and south. And at the north end and at the south end of that, there are crosswalks. And what I notice is in plan view, well, there's a tree or a bush or something at each of those intersections. And I would be concerned that it might block a driver and pedestrian from seeing each other. So I'm wondering just what the material, what kind of planting that is, and will you make sure it's not obscuring the view of a pedestrian using the walk and a driver crossing the walk?
Very, very, very valid concerns. And Mark Russell is our landscape architect who is with us this evening. And I think that he might be able to perhaps, describe really the layering of the landscaping here that he has called for. Mark, if you can unmute yourself, would you maybe speak to that?
Sure, thank you. And thank you for the question. We all are very concerned about safety for sure. We do understand that the ordinance requires a 40-foot clear vision triangle at each of those intersections. So we have pulled that plant material back from that corner. The plant material around the sign, which is the red plant material on the bottom, is a flowering rose, plant knockout rose, which gets about 30 inches to 3 feet tall. So that satisfies the ordinance as a clear vision triangle for that height. The trees that were the existing trees that are along Coolidge Road, most of those have been removed. The trees that we will retain there are a few trees that are north of the crosswalk, or excuse me, the walk that enters into the site off of that pedestrian walk adjacent to Coolidge. There are a few trees in there. There are dawn redwood trees that have been there for quite a while. But if you all are familiar with the site, there are several dawn redwood trees that the tops have been either trimmed by Mother Nature or trimmed by others. So we're seeking to remove those trees. And if you look at our package, you'll see that we have the tree removal plan that references those trees specifically. But most of the plant material that you see, Commissioner Wolf, is below 3 feet in height and set back far enough that would satisfy any view sheds that are required for pedestrians and vehicles entering and exiting those roads.
Okay, but that was not the area I was asking about, though.
Okay.
It's along the east side of the building. There's a concrete sidewalk that runs north and south.
Oh, the east side of the building, right? So internal to the site?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, along the east side of the building.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought that I'm sorry. So you're talking about this one?
I misunderstood as well.
Or something at the north and south ends that coincide with the beginning of a crosswalk.
Understood. Thank you for that clarification.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, those are Fragrant Sumac, which are a plant material that's used at HQ2 north of our site. It's a deciduous plant material, native plant material that's ground hugging, and it will create a view shed, a clearance between the top of the plant and probably the bottom canopy of the tree of about 6 feet. So you would certainly be able to see beneath that, or through that tree. I don't envision any view problems there for people either driving or crossing that walk. Again, that plant material, you'll have basically a clear trunk of approximately 6 feet for that tree. So your view, we'll just say somebody's 5.5 feet tall. You would be able to see between the tops of the shrubs and the bottom of the canopy of the tree, both vehicularly and by pedestrian.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the clarification. Commissioner Cahill, did I see your hand as well?
I just had a quick question. As I recall, in the headquarters, there's a branch operation on the first floor. I assume that's moving out to this space, or is it remaining?
No, it is moving to this location. This new freestanding branch replaces that.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicants? Ms. Buck, could I ask you to unshare your screen? It's easier for me to see if people have their hands raised if I can. There we go.
Sorry.
Lovely. Thank you. No, that's fine.
What happens when you give me control?
No, it's all good. I just, as long as if you're not presenting and no one's asking questions, we don't have to refer back to the documents, then all the better. All right. So that being the case, any further questions for the applicants? I'm not seeing any hands. I guess that then we'll see this at a future meeting. Ms. Schmidt, is that the intention? I see that there's no proposal for a potential.
That is correct. We will bring this back at our next meeting.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you to the applicants for your attention and your time, and we'll see you presumably in about 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay.
Have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. On that item 7, we have no, oh, wait a minute, before I move on, and Ms. Buck, if you're still there, thank you, goodness. I probably ought to open the public hearing for this particular matter. And so I don't know that we've got anybody here except for your representatives, but just in the interest of doing this the right way, I will now open the public hearing for this application and will ask, the only name I'm seeing is under our attendees is Mr. Stan Cole, who I presume is one of your member or one of your team.
Yes, he is.
Unless he has questions that he's not comfortable asking you in private, I will say that we don't have any members of the public. And
I report to him. So
well, there we go. Then you should keep your conversations private. And I will close the public hearing and move on to item 7. Thank you for sticking around. So
good evening, everybody.
Bye now. We have no old business or new business. Items 7 or 8. Do any commissioners have any concerns they wish to discuss under item 9, commissioner concerns? Commissioner Cahill.
I'd just like to say, I noticed that it was the screening for the mechanicals was specifically addressed, and I don't know if that was because of my rant last meeting, but I appreciated it.
I hope you don't think it's wrong that I thought of you when I saw the specific note in the staff report, and then once again when the image came up on the screen. So,
yes.
Any other commissioner concerns? Commissioner Sullivan.
Yeah, just curious if there's any update on us returning to having in-person meetings.
I don't have anything to share with you right now. City staff is scheduled to move back into City Hall next Thursday. Right. So I'm sure discussions are ramping up on what exactly that means to our boards and commissions. I can tell you it's been discussed, but no final decisions or really even non-final decisions have been made. I'll do my best to keep you in the loop as these conversations roll out.
Fair enough. Just excited to see everybody eventually.
Any other concerns? Commissioner Lapine and then Commissioner Boyle.
I'm not sure how exactly to phrase this, but I'm wondering if there will be any public comment sessions in the near future for the new rental restriction overlay issue that's being discussed pretty broadly in my neighborhood right now. So I was wondering if we're going to hear anything about that in the near future on this commission, or how I should be communicating with neighbors to let their feedback get to the right people.
Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with that yet, so I would ask Darcy to fill you in, and then if we can always provide more information next time.
I would also, Ms. Schmidt, we also have a local expert, I presume, and Mr. Sullivan, who might, in sort of legislatively, might be able to hook us in. So when, if you want to start, and then if Joseph, Mr. Sullivan, you got something you could add?
I was just looking up the legislation. It looks like it might be 4722. So it's pending deliberation in the legislature. So, I mean, the only advice I could give is to contact your legislator and see what guidance that they can provide.
Yeah, there was an article in the East Lansing Info about it yesterday that I think sparked some discussion.
I know Annette Irwin is currently working with our city attorney on it right now. We definitely can bring that forward to the Planning Commission. It's not in the zoning code, so it's not something we'd usually bring to you to act on, but it's definitely something for an information piece that we'll bring to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Vice Chair Boyle.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank staff again for getting us print copies of the housing study. It is a tremendous amount of material. And when I looked at it online, I thought, this is going to do in an entire cartridge on my printer. And I don't think I underestimated that. But it's really, it's very interesting. I just started to dip into it. Are we going to have a chance to discuss it at all at a future meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay, there's some things I certainly like, some questions I have, some things I'd like more information about. But it is certainly much more information than I thought we would be getting when we requested a housing study and when I first heard the announcement for a housing study. So a lot to talk about and a lot for planning commission and the planning department to consider. So thanks for getting it to us in print. Thanks for the city for getting it done. And I look forward to reading it through and thinking about it more.
Absolutely. And for those of you that, thank you, Vice Chair, for bringing that up. For those of you that hadn't noticed, Commissioner Sullivan has added a link to information regarding the pending legislation regarding local zoning control.
Yeah, so I posted a link to the Michigan Legislature website. The bill was just voted out of committee earlier this week and is pending deliberation before the full House. It would still have to go through the Senate process as well, but I think a lot of people are just concerned that this would preempt these types of zoning decisions by local governments.
Thank you all. Good questions. Any remaining concerns? All right, then a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Cahill, so moved.
Wolf, second.
Thank you. That's been moved by Commissioner Cahill and seconded by Commissioner Wolf to adjourn our meeting. Let's have a voice vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And those opposed? That motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:37. Thank you, everyone.
Nice to see you all.
And yes, absolutely. And it would be good to see you all in person soon. And
In the flesh.
We'll be there. We'll be there pretty soon, I think. Take care and be safe.
Thanks.
Yeah. Good
Have a
night.
good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.